Nah.
Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, beep boop.
Oh man, nothing witty to talk about right now.
Yeah, my brain just kind of went.
You just started counting with the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You completely
That,
forgot you were doing a show, and you just got like 10, 9, 8.
this week's been insane, work wise, and I'm just a sleepy boy, and alcohol with dinner has kind of made me a little bit loosey goosey, and then because I hit broadcast and forgot that I still had the YouTube page open, um, the UK doing the doot 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 started echoing, and I just disassociated hard.
Like, what the hell's going on?
And then you started talking over yourself, and then I was like, "Oh crap!" And yeah, it hurt my brain. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 59 of Read This Way. I am Brad, and this my boy is Logan. Starting off, just answering on stream. We will be at BendyCon this weekend. That's the BendyCon. Oh my god.
The Bendigo convention.
Thanks, man.
Yes, we will be there. We will be slinging our comics while we're there. And don't hesitate to hit us up about questions about anime and manga, because we will talk your ears off about whatever you might want to talk about.
That's right. That's right. It's 90% of our personality.
Yeah, you start asking me questions about either making comics or reading comics, and we're done. I will talk your ear off for hours.
Yeah. The hard thing at cons is that I always try to remember that I've got to balance. I've got to. I will happily talk to you. But please don't be offended if I stop talking to you to sell a comic.
Yeah, that's few
It's a
and far
comic.
between.
Oh, buddy, you the right place.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
storytelling, man.
I'm gonna talk because you've recently got back into Beastars.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about that today.
Yeah.
And I am going to talk at you about is it Paku? Is that their name? The mangaka's new work, which we've talked about privately before, but we haven't spoken about on the show. I don't think we might have. Sunder,
maybe. Which title? Sorry.
Thirst Trap Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I've read more of it now, so I have a bit more to kind of give
a little bit more context
on. Yeah,
that
a bit more thoughts. I do miss Beastars, but I am really enjoying. That's the cliff notes.
Yeah.
And it's not like Beastars. Pardon me. It's not like Beastars got cancelled or ended abruptly. It kind of did come to a natural conclusion, but I don't know, man. The way that they writes the characters, I just fell in love with Legoshi, and mainly just Legoshi, actually. And Louis.
We will go in depth with that a little bit later.
It feels weird. It's been over for like
3
years now.
Yeah.
So it was nice when season 2 dropped, because I got like a bit of a refresher. I think it hadn't been over for that long when season 2 dropped.
I thought it was actually finished before they started doing 2. I might be wrong.
I'm just quick. October 2020. Wow, it's been nearly 3 years.
Yeah. So they I would almost go to the point of, oh no, I reckon the first season would have been about 4 years ago. So I reckon it was before the second season that it
Yeah,
finished.
season 1 came out October 2019, so a year before
Jesus.
it finished.
Dang, you asked me to quote a
And
date about, something like this, but asked me to remember my children's birthdays.
uh, actually, yeah, so it was March 2021, so it had been over for about like
A
6
year.
months.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which means it's interesting to see that they're taking their time
3
with it.
months, sorry. It started airing January. So it
Mm.
had been over for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Um and
Hmm.
I reckon we'll probably get, if they keep doing the 12 episodes, I reckon we'll probably get like another 2 to 3. I reckon probably closer to 2 though.
Yeah. That's right.
Just guesstimating from what we've currently already seen.
Maybe they can
Yeah.
cap it off with a movie.
Ooh.
I
That'd
know
be
they
really
will.
cool, actually. Yeah, they could. They could. Um, yeah, 2 in a movie. Like, even if they had to cut
Mm.
part of season 2 down, like release an 8 episode season, and then cram what's left into a movie, I reckon that'd probably work. I
Yeah.
just want the ending to have that extra budget. That's
Yeah.
all.
I mean, it's all 3D rendered, so it's not like they need budget.
Yeah,
If you get where I'm at,
yeah.
because it's not my favorite
Time.
animated work, but
What they've
my gosh,
done with the
the
medium though,
characters just,
it's,
yeah, I know they've done well. It doesn't feel out of place.
you know why?
Why?
It's because they're not human.
Yeah, I know. They can move however they want. They're furries, my man, so they can
You get the
do whatever.
Uncanny Valley just disappears.
That's right.
That's why
That's
like
right.
Daughter Hedoro works majoritively of the time because most of their characters aren't really that human-ish from memory. It's been a little
Yeah.
while since I watched that as well.
Oh no, quite a bit of their cast is human. There's only a couple that
I,
are.
I'm
I mean,
I
they're
just
like just kind of extreme
yeah
dimensions, kind of stylized stuff. So it fit it pretty well, but
yeah.
the way it shifted between 2D and 3D sort of threw me out a few times.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
that
what
was a
you
really
got
weird one, but it suited the texture, the tone.
you had like the lizard dude as the MC.
Yeah,
Um and
and then his partner
the
is a normal looking girl, lady, person,
ish.
normalish muscle girl.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, from memory, because it's probably been 3 years since that dropped.
Yeah,
I remember the human characters being the most jarring, but then you've got like the um, Umbrella Academy type assassin squad where they've got like their head covered in weird masks. Because wasn't one of them like
yeah.
wearing a heart or something? Something along those lines.
Oh, he's got like this mask. He's got a mask he wears over his head that's in the shape of a
Yeah.
heart, like a human
Yeah,
heart.
yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool.
yeah. And so like
Very
when
cool.
they obscure the faces, the 3D I feel isn't anywhere near as jarring.
Yeah,
But that's
man.
just
I was just having a little bit of a dig around then, and I noticed that Beastars actually started the same year that Zootopia was released.
Wait,
But
the manga.
Beastars, the manga, started several months after Zootopia was released. So I'm wondering whether that
So
was a big.
Well,
A
hang
reasonable
on.
influence? I mean, I know they're
It
so
is
drastically
Paru.
different.
So Paru Itagaki also did before Beastars. They did Beast Complex. I think it was. Which was like anthology series. I think would be the best terminology for what it was. Sorry, yeah, my brain just started doing Beast Complex in 2016,
Yeah,
which then kind of led into Beastars, because Beast Complex is set in the same universe. It's just like a bunch of short stories, and
yeah,
then it span off to do its
do its own
into
thing.
Beastars. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh wow,
Um,
his art grew so much in that year.
yeah.
Comparing Beast Complex to Beast Stars,
Yeah.
it
I
really changed.
I think Paru. Yeah, Paru is a girl, but it's still yet to
Sorry.
do a face reveal.
Yeah, I'm seeing that all of her interviews are with a
She,
chicken
yeah, she's a chicken.
helmet on,
um,
which is
which
fantastic. I love it.
have you read any of Beastars?
No, but I'm going to be. It's my next series that I really want to get my hands on.
No, I think the chicken is still in the anime. It just doesn't feel, because I am okay. So I think from memory, the chicken that Legoshi ends up eating the eggs of, that he's one of his classmates. He doesn't. Okay, so he doesn't know that. That sounds a lot weirder. Than
If you look at
so
the world, that's just the
I
way
know
it
it's
works.
it. Yeah. So one of the chickens, who's his classmate, donates their eggs to the cafeteria.
Hmm.
And there's like um like how they, a lot of the mangas do like a B story where the chapter will finish and then there'll be like a 3-panel
Yeah.
little comic or something along those lines. From memory, the whole interaction around Legoshi and his classmate, the chicken, who they don't interact with in the slightest. It's like it's from the chicken's perspective, and she's like watching Legoshi, and he like comments on how the eggs are tasting and whatnot, and it correlates to like her mental health, and like when her mental health dips, the flavor of the eggs goes down, and he's all like, oh, I hope the person like, which is,
The
it's
chicken.
such a weird, it's such a
Yeah.
weird
I
series
hope
when
they're
you like
doing
start.
okay.
Yeah. It's just like you're eating there. It's like when you think about it a bit too much, it's like that's fucking weird.
The whole thing is so complex. The universe that they've developed is so complex in its nuances, uh, in in an attempt to make it feel normal to the
Yeah.
characters.
And
That's
it
the real
really,
trick.
the comparison that you made to Zootopia is like they surface leveled that shit, and granted it
Oh
was only
yeah,
a movie, but the difference is a night and day.
yeah. That's what I mean. They're very very different pieces of content that
Yeah.
on the surface level you go, oh geez, there's a lot of similarities here. There's a wolf, there's a rabbit, and that's where the similarities stop.
Well, he's a fox in Zootopia. So.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. People get it mixed up. They'll get it mixed up.
You
Um,
know what I would love to see? A retelling manga version by Paru of Zootopia set in her world, which would be really cool. But we'll never get that. But it's my
no.
own little.
Well, Beastars are really not that far behind.
It's
It's
not.
more noir and detective than Zootopia was.
I know. Like, ugh. It gets weird, man.
I know, but it's the
Like in
good weird.
a really good
It's
way.
the
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
good structured weird that doesn't stand out. I love it when they do little world building activities like this, but they don't explain anything. And that's what they do in Beastars is, things happen. And if it's a focal point, if it's something that the story is trying to convey, and they'll explain it to a deeper level. But on a general level, they don't explain any of things like the eggs. They're just eating eggs. But when you stop and think about it,
Yeah.
those eggs have got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
They're all wearing, they're wearing a woolen jumper. Where do you think that wool comes from, man?
Yeah, I know.
You see? So you it's things like that where you're living the life, or you're reading the book, and then you just stop and go, wait a minute, where did that come from? Even though that's an everyday for us, and we're just used to it.
Well,
These
that's
creatures have to talk and have a conversation with where the product came from.
that's we've already spent 16 minutes talking about it,
I know.
and I want
You open
you.
you
I
open the
know.
chest.
We'll jump back into it a bit later because I want to talk a bit more about that parallel between um that and like the real world equivalent of um yeah, just that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get rid of the of,
Yeah.
just the
Well,
real world
okay.
equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
News.
News. Do we
There's not
really
much.
have any though? Because
I
there's
mean,
not a lot going on. There hasn't been much in the way of announcements there. Um, the only
we've got
the only news that I'm going to bring up is
yes.
Kodansha have done a really bang up job of
Oh
screwing
yeah.
over the app that they've released overseas, and they've gone ahead and square softed that.
So
They're not Squaresoft anymore. Square Enix. They Square
yeah.
Enix that app.
Well, you're showing your
And
age, man.
shut up, man.
Hasn't been Squaresoft since what, like Final Fantasy 7?
No, it's like
Earlier?
8, maybe 9. I think 9 was when after 9 they combined.
Was it?
And it was a joining. It wasn't a takeover. So they joined together.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's why it's Square Enix and not just Square, or not just Enix.
yeah. Well, then they
Yeah.
do it's the Mr. Spuckaroo.
Yeah.
That, funnily enough, that episode of The Simpsons is my baseline for how like Japanese company mergers happen.
That is such a classic episode of The Simpsons, though.
It
So
is.
good.
It's so good. Whoa! It was 20 years ago, so it was 2003.
I remember complaining about them joining. I'm just like, Square's never going to be the same after this. And you know what? They weren't. So after that, they became like this massive corporate conglomerate that really just screwed up everything they touched.
I mean, but that's when they did Kingdom Hearts, so I can't agree with you.
You
And
mean
10 and Final Fantasy
that
10.
overly complex storyline?
Yeah.
And 10, yeah, look, everybody says 10's great and it's the best thing ever, but it was okay.
I nerded out hard on the stupid replayability of the
Oh yeah, we all did that. Hit the cinema.
the language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I ever finish it twice? No. Did I even get close to playing it? I think I got like maybe a third through, and I was like, is it adding that much value? I mean, we were kind of in that in between where it's like replaying a game that big wasn't that necessary anymore because there was so many games coming out.
Yeah, the content was just flying at you. So to throw 70 hours into a game was just starting to get a bit rigorous.
Yeah,
People wanted shorter games so they could get
70.
more in.
I think it was
Yes. Yes. I mean, if you
on the
played
lighter
it,
end, but yeah.
yeah,
Which now leads to me to like being very picky with my JRPGs because they're a very big time investment.
they are indeed, or RPGs in general. Anytime I pick up a game and go, "Oh, this story looks cool," and then I put it back down and go, "I won't ever play that."
Um,
It's never gonna happen.
Showing both of us showing our ADHD.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got completely off topic there.
Off topic. Going
So
back to where I was.
confirmed that it is not available in Australia.
That is
Not that I
correct.
plan
I
on.
have tried to download it several different ways. I don't have a VPN, so I'm not going to go delving into
And I
that.
mean, by the
And I
sounds
don't
of
think
it,
it's necessary.
from what you're about to tell everybody,
Yeah, so here I was expecting, so Kodansha, which is what, the second largest?
yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
much anything
or even the
big,
largest.
anything big that's come out anime wise that isn't a Shonen Jump property. 9 times out of 10, it's going
Kodansha.
to be
Yeah,
Kodansha.
yeah. So these are the guys that are, Akira and Ghost in the Shell and the list goes on and on and on. But they've released a lot more of the I want to say adult content for anime
Yeah,
over the years,
that's fair.
because they don't pander and cater for children as such. So
Well,
all
they
their
didn't niche themselves by calling themselves
no,
Shonen Jump.
yeah, I know they really put themselves in a little bracket there, didn't they?
Which I mean is under Shueisha, so that's
Yeah.
Shueisha Shueisha is probably closer to compare to Kodansha than Shonen Jump is to compare to
Yeah.
Kodansha. But
Yeah.
Shueisha doesn't have anywhere near as many big hitters outside of Jump than they do. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
That
so since we started this podcast, one of the things we've been saying is we wish Kodansha had an app, just like Manga Plus, so we could read all the stuff that they're releasing regularly.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, a couple of months ago they did, a little bit under our radar because it was never released here in Australia, but it was released over in the States. And after doing a solid 15 minutes worth of research, I found out that is chock full of edited manga and microtransactions to make me feel very unhappy that that's happened.
Yeah. I will
And they've chosen to go that way.
probably one of their bigger flagships would be Attack on Titan up until recently.
Oh yeah.
Which was sub published on Crunchyroll manga, which is another platform that's just a fucking train wreck.
Man, we've had good stuff. This is the problem,
Oh,
because if we
God.
hadn't been given the good stuff first, we
Well,
wouldn't care so much.
before we had the Shonen Jump app, that's the only app we had was the Crunchyroll one, and even when it was the only one, it was still pretty average.
Yeah.
But they published a handful of Kodansha titles. So they had a Jin, they had Attack on Titan. That's kind of it. Oh, they had Seven Deadly Sins actually.
But they released in a Tankaban format, didn't they?
No,
Or was it by chapter?
it was by chapter.
By chapter.
Well, it depended. So Attack on Titan and Jin were weekly format. But some of the other stuff that they had, like they had Sunken Rock on there, which released Tankerban wise. It really depended on the title, translation wise as well, I guess. It was honestly a bit of a hot mess. I read some really cool titles like Inside Mari. Um, what was the Okeni Tenmaru, which is a fever dream mixed with body horror. It's
Everyone's
the
favorite.
what? That's the one with the giraffe head that I showed you a few weeks back, where the dude like they were all playing the arcade games, and then the dude like takes a
Oh, the
head
giraffe head
transforms.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That is kind of mad
that was
looking.
wild.
Yeah, weird thing.
I think it was done by the same mangaka as King's Game, so it's kind of got that death battle edgy
Yeah,
energy to it. But it's
yeah.
closer to a like seinen battle manga.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Getting back to
So
the
yeah, it was weird. And then we had Jump Drop, and it had a fantastic model. It had flawless execution. They partnered up with Viz. It was a
yeah.
subscription model. They had all the weekly stuff coming through from Jump, and they had an uploaded vault of what would you call it? Lineage content, I guess.
They cycling? So they would release it for a period of time and then they would throw it back in the vault. Or am I?
No, I don't think
No?
so.
Okay.
No, that's Disney's model of vault, I think.
Yeah, well that's what kind of well as
No,
soon
they
as you
just
said vault, it just
yeah,
automatically
they called it a
yeah.
vault, but they literally were just like, "Hey, this is the stuff that we've got translated. Here you go." They had what was it? It was All You Need Is Kill on there as in the
Oh
vault,
yeah.
which
Kill the kill.
no, that's different.
No, that's Kill La Kill. Kill the Kill was the original translation title.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The American release was called All You Need Is Kill.
Oh, I didn't know that because
Yeah.
they butchered the thing with Edge of
It's made it into
Tomorrow.
a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and they
then
screwed that up.
for the most part, we didn't have anything else competing with Jump, and
No,
then
not on the official platform. It's
then well, we had. I mean, you had Bookwalker, but it was more by your individual. Actually, is that Kodansha? That might be the closest thing we have, but it's again, it's similar to the whole microtransaction purchase
yeah.
a PDF that you are locked onto their platform. You don't really earn it. You're only kind of paying to rent, essentially. And if
Yeah.
the platform goes defunct, then you lose everything.
Goodbye your content. Yeah.
Then
This is the importance of buying physical media, people. Only a house fire and flood can take it away from you.
it was Square. Then Square launched. When did that was what a year
That
ago
was last
now?
year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year. And then that was the dawn of all bad things.
Oh, sorry, Bookwalker's Katakawa. That's why I got
Okay.
confused.
Yeah.
The K.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kadokawa is similar. Yes, the Square Enix stuff just it was horrible,
Manga
really
Now?
horrible. And manga now. So they've just done the same thing with this K manga app.
Yeah,
And
so
it's horrifying that they think they need to do this. Why wouldn't they just use the same model as Viz, which they clearly know works?
Because it
And
was
just give us everything for a subscription.
Manga Up. That was
Yeah,
what it was.
I'll put that out of my mind.
Yeah, it's garbage. Is essentially
Yeah.
what we're saying. Essentially, yeah, that's the thing that shits me the most about it is they hide how much you're spending through tokens, essentially. So you spend money
some
to buy in-app currency, which some chapters are worth this much, some chapters are worth that much. I
and
don't.
get this right though, when you buy the currency, it's like it will cost you 37.58 and you'll get 379 tokens. So
Yeah,
they use
it's not
completely random
equated.
numbers.
And I don't know about this one, but I remember the Square one had like 3 different currencies where you had the free currency, you would have an earned currency, and then the purchasable currency. Just to confuse you even more, to
So they're
basically
using the
spend even
same
more
model
shit.
as any free game app
Yeah.
that you get on your phone. That buys you can buy the crystals to unlock
Buy the
more
battle
characters.
pass.
Yeah. So it's essentially that same model, and they think it works.
Well, I
But you got to
mean,
have something first.
kind of does, but it also pisses a lot of people off,
Yeah,
especially when you're censoring said content on your platform.
yeah, yeah. That's
Because
just silly.
that was my biggest issue when Square came out, was they were haphazardly uh, censoring stuff.
I remember seeing
When
some of the images.
I was
It's
reading
hilarious.
Vermilion Gold, and like that series is horny as hell.
Yeah.
And like one page they would censor a little bit of cleavage, and then the next page it's like an upskirt that's like hyper detailed, and you just like, and it's completely uncensored, and I'm just like, wait, wait,
It's
wait,
because they
wait.
didn't want to cover up the art.
I'm just like, I don't understand. And then there's like the next page. There's a girl wearing a bikini, sort of thing. Well, it's basically a mankini from like Borat, and it's like just covering her nipples, completely uncensored. And then the next page, it's her from behind, and there's a black bar across her butt, and you're like, I don't understand your benchmark for
What is your
censorship
model
here.
for this? What is your
Like,
benchmark?
oh, it was
Silly,
so
silly.
infuriating. And
Do you have
yeah,
any news?
a little bit. We kind of went. I knew we were going to
I
talk
know
about
you
that
went.
for ages.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about it until you brought it up. To be honest,
yeah.
honestly, as soon as you told me about it, and it was the same model, I had a rant, about it, and then completely just forgot about it because I was like, well, I'm never going to invest my time into that.
Nope, no, completely out of sight, out of mind. So
um,
anybody out there, don't use that app because it'll most likely die relatively quickly.
I'm honestly surprised that Manga Up is still kicking along.
Well, I guess people are still purchasing things.
And that's the thing, like, because it will be working to some degree, they're going to keep it running. If it's not, essentially, you've got to vote with your wallet with this sort of
Yeah.
thing. And if they see it as justifiable, or viable in any way, shape, or form, because it's another source of income. They're not stopping the physical printing, so they're just getting an extra source. Then they're just going to continue doing it.
And this is the really confusing part, right? So you look at apps like Manga Plus and Viz's app as well, and you go, well, okay, is everybody steering to reading these online and all that? Is everything going digital? No. If anything, the physical sales are up. People are still buying this stuff in droves. Even here in Australia, it's starting to outnumber the American platform quite heavily. So it's just fascinating to think that they need to try and squeeze more money out of it
Yeah.
when their sales are still doing so well.
On a side note to that, Manga Plus reached its second most read month ever in July 2023. And I mean, yeah, Momiyama highlights One Piece serialization resuming and Naruto's new one-shot as being the big push to the 2 million worldwide views in a single week. I hate to like think that it's solely those two properties, but I can definitely see that being a big help because I mean, it's the first Naruto
I'm
chapter since it ended.
I'm super confused why it's only 2 million views. When you think about it, surely enough, there's
Yeah.
more than 2 million people viewing this stuff. That seems like a
Well,
small number.
there's also the people that use the Shonen Jump Viz app, I would assume. So I guess that
Oh yeah,
splits the viewership there.
but still, I would have guessed at least tens of millions.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have thought. I've honestly never really thought about it
Sorry, it just
until
seems
I
like a
saw
really
this.
small number.
I mean, 2 million is still pretty big.
Maybe it's in reference to America only,
Could be.
or yeah, instead of being because normally those numbers are local,
I
which
still
would
haven't read the one
also
shot, but
kind of
that looks
make sense.
pretty.
Does look interesting.
I have no idea what's happening. I assume it's some sort of jutsu going on there.
So past jutsu,
But... I mean, we've got a new series on the horizon where the editor for You and I Are Polar Opposites is recruiting assistants. That's about it.
What is the editor going to do the work? What's going on there?
No,
So
the
there's just really
editor.
been no information.
So, well, the mangaka is for a title that hasn't been localized. Hidamari no Yosei Kitadoji Seiger no Waru Shumi. That is,
Whoa,
I know,
that's a
right? That is a
mouthful.
title. Let me just quickly. Surely there's.
A
They would
little bit
have.
of info.
Nope, I got nothing.
Nothing. So we've got nothing. There's a
Not,
new title
not.
coming. So
Yeah,
there's
I don't.
new
I don't
titles
even know
coming
what
and no,
the.
and we haven't had axes, man. We haven't had axes for
I
months.
know, which makes me nervous.
For what? What are you nervous?
The,
You're still nervous for Tenmaku, aren't you?
yes.
Yeah.
Always. I'm
Yeah.
always nervous for the series that I've already started to get invested in.
It's because you got invested. That's the problem. That's the reason.
It's like I'm still hurt on Ginker and Luna and Phantom Seer, man.
And Aliens Area. Don't forget that one.
No, yeah.
And here I am in the comic shop the other day sending you photos of all the series that have been cancelled.
Oh my god, Red Hood. That
Yeah.
crazy.
I saw
Usually,
that.
like,
I saw that sitting on the shelf, and I'm just like,
that
that
markup
hurts.
is a bit
Well, yeah, you're gonna get it, man.
annoying. We've got some new cover leaks. So this is actually, I don't know, I might have shown this one off already.
Yeah, I reckon you have.
I
But
think so. I
that's
think,
to be expected for you. You're always going to show off the One Piece stuff more, aren't you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think it was without the logo and stuff. So I think this is like the
Yeah.
finalized leak. So that's the Egghead Island arc, which is like, I don't know, volume 100 and something. Akane Banashi,
Nice.
which I liked. We had the wrap up chapter post her loss, which was nice because basically it was a reiteration to her that was like, hey, if it sucked that you lost, but you're in the business of entertaining. So if you're not enjoying yourself while entertaining, you probably should look at a different career path. And it was like a what?
No, I was listening. Sorry, I was
Oh.
listening. I was just trying to do the thing he's doing with his hand. I was just trying to do that.
This.
Yeah, it's how
I
tight he's
couldn't
got his little
see.
pinky. See how tight his little pinky's at? Yeah, no, I can't.
Oh, is that?
That's as far as I can get, right?
Hang on,
Yeah,
let me.
but he's
I
like
can't
right.
see you
He's right
enough.
tucked under. He's right tucked under. That's yeah. No,
You need to get a bit more flexible there, man. Thought
no.
your hands would be like all super dexterous and stuff from all the drawing
Well,
you
they
do.
are in small. I'm like this all the time.
Yeah, you're like the pinky doesn't get used for shit.
That's right. You know, if I was in Italy, I'd be like the master. Yeah.
You'd be really good at talking.
Oh, that's so offensive. Nice. Man, this series is going off. I'm loving it.
I'm really enjoying MMA. It's great.
It's going to be cancelled. That's it. I love it.
Shut up. No, if anything's going to be cancelled, I feel like Do Retry is probably wrapping
Is
up.
that the 19th Tankobon?
Yeah. Mission Yuzakura
Jesus.
family's been going, man.
Where's the anime? It's clearly a big seller.
Didn't it get announced?
I think there was talk about it.
Let me do a quick Google. I could have swore there was an anime.
I reckon a couple of months back, you mentioned something. But it was sort of in passing. It was kind of like an announcement that they're going to be doing something, or they're looking.
Oh, that's right. They
videos.
did key visuals by Silverlink in 2024.
Okay. So it'll be going up against Kaiju.
Yeah. What have they done recently? Oh, they've also picked up Hokkaido Girls are super adorable.
I haven't read any of that. Is it?
No, but I like the art style. I haven't read it though.
Yeah, I should give it a whirl just because something light.
So they've done Misfit of Demon Academy, Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I max out all my defense.
I absolutely loved that series. I vouch for that thing. That's so good.
Oh, they're doing level 1 Demon Lord and One Room Hero. Have you seen shorts for that?
No.
So Hero defeats the Demon Lord, and the Demon Lord gets reincarnated, but like at level 1, and so she's like chibi and like adorable as hell. She's like a little brat kitten demon sort of like energy, and so she's like, I'm going to track down the hero that defeated me and destroy him. Finds him, and he's now a shut-in, and is basically just gone. His entire life has gone to shit after defeating the Demon Lord. And he's depressed, and the Demon Lord decides to help him get back on his feet so that they can destroy him. It looks so funny.
Okay. Does sound like fun.
And the art for it was really nice. Hang on, here we go.
Is that on Plus?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. The anime for it is what I was referring to, but no, this is published by
Fuzz
Hobunsha, which is another one that I've actually never heard of before.
Does look cute.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Looks kind of familiar. I don't know why.
Don't know. It is a
Got
seinen
a-
series, so that it's got that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's gonna have some guts and some
Yeah.
language. Hopefully, it's got a bit of a
It,
Dragon Ball vibe to it. That's what it is.
yeah. It's like
It's yeah.
what's the Pilaf?
Yeah.
The little demon from Dragon Ball.
It's not just that, but the boots. She's wearing Saiyan boots.
Yeah. She got little points for
Yeah.
feet.
Pointy feet.
Yeah, it started this season, I think. I haven't picked it up, watched it myself yet, but it's been on my list.
Okay. This will, yeah, I'm just going to hit this up and check it out. Maybe that's where I've seen it. I've seen it on the forums and stuff going around.
Yeah. So I reckon it's got a good studio behind it. Sorry, my brain just broke.
That's right. We're used to it by now.
I know. Just they seem to do a lot of isekai or fantasy, so
it's hard not to, considering 90% of the season is isekai. So your chances of doing one are pretty high.
The ones that I already listed are pretty much the standouts that I recognize. Oh, they did Wise Man's Grandchild. I know that was one of the isekais I was into.
Yeah, I did watch that.
I'm going back into like 2018, and they did Death March into a parallel world as well. That's probably the only other thing that I've recognized.
Yeah, and the work on that was actually quite nice. Cool.
Yeah, no, Restaurant to Another World. All right, I need to stop because I'm like,
yeah,
they've done a couple of fates.
You just, yeah.
Yeah, this is what happens after the show when we start looking at lists together.
We do.
And
we do look at a lot of lists.
And then we're like, oh, what does this lead to? Oh, look at that. That's a thing.
Yeah. But that person wrote this, and then that's a demon like rabbit hole of doom.
The rabbit holes that we end up going down.
Okay.
I've got
different news.
Oh,
you got something else? Almost.
Only a couple more things to show off. And then the only actual news for this this
Blue Box
episode. So yeah, Blue Box got a double color page spread. My Neighbor Riverco, I don't know the reference that this one is, if it is. I always like to try and figure it out now. Undead Unluck is wrapping up its high school arc.
Yeah.
I love that the teacher, like the older people, have infiltrated as teachers,
just hanging outside having a ciggy.
Yeah. Black Clover volume 35.
Now, Black Clover, is this the last?
That's the segue into the last bit of news.
Yeah. Okay.
So Black Clover is moving from Jump, due to probably a myriad of reasons. Let's be honest. But it's in its final stretch.
Health is probably the major.
I'm saying health and family. Health and family would be the big ones, but it's not just his health. It's his wife's health. It's his daughter's health. It's his dog's health. Yuki Tabata has been very forthcoming and very
open.
Thank you. With in like the author's comments and whatnot. I mean, just look at his little icon here. It's like a little
it's a little talking bird.
It's a little duck that's like shaky and tired and probably malnourished. It's got like
it probably started as being nervous, and now it's just like, I'm wrecked.
But yeah, essentially because of all of those reasons, I would assume he's gone to the editors and been like, "Hey, I can't continue this with just doing breaks.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we can move the finale wrap up of Black Clover to another magazine?" So it's been moved to Jump Giga, which initially was used for one shots, spin offs, that type of thing, and it would release quarterly to thirdly. So
Nice.
max, usually you'd get 4 magazines a year. Sometimes you'd get 3. So roughly, Yuki's got about a 3-month period to work on a chapter.
And that
I would
chapter
have,
will be as big as he wants to make it, I guess.
I would assume it would be beefier, but who's to
Mm.
say? It I'm expecting it to probably be around the 30 to 40 page mark. So like the equivalent of 2 chapters, 2 to 3
Yeah.
chapters combined, but he's got much more time to work on it, which is going to allow him to focus on his health, his family, because I think he's got a young daughter.
Yeah. And this is the thing. It could be, a couple of months of being in this situation, and
Mm,
getting back on his feet, and then there'll be a more regular release of content, once he's
yeah.
back up and going again. So it really, I hope, I really hope that they do this more.
Well,
That they,
this
you
kind
know,
of plays into what we were talking about last podcast episode that we did,
mm,
with um, Sui Ishida, Trojan X.
yeah,
Um, he gets to do whatever he wants, release whenever he wants. Um, Chapters, I'm assuming that he does get chopped up because of the way they get released is kind of weird, but
I think he, I, this is how I see it, right?
yeah.
At the jump offices, there, he will come up in the elevator with this massive stack of the paper, and he'll go here, and he'll hand it to them, and they just walk straight back out again. And he'll do that sort of once every few months. He just turns up and just drops stuff off and then disappears again and just gets back to work at his own leisurely pace.
Yeah.
And then it's up to them to break it up into a more manageable size that they can release on a regular basis. So it's not, us having to try and read 120 pages all at once, because that's what he's dropped off.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know
I wonder
whether
if
I've
he's
turned him into some kind of mystical creature that
I
just
wonder if he's
randomly
got
turns up and
assist.
drops off.
Do you reckon he's got assistants?
Um, I at the rate he works, I don't think he does. And if he does, it would be maybe one,
Yeah,
would be my guess. And that would be to just do, you know, all your menial tasks.
clean up and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the shades and stuff like that. So, but there's not a lot of that sort of stuff in his work. So if you look at his work, it's rough, it's loose.
Mm,
There's no real way for an assistant to actually jump on and grab it and actually
yeah,
do anything.
yeah,
So it would be fascinating to see if, because even his backgrounds and stuff are, they're pretty rough. Like it looks like he just throws down a couple of
yeah.
lines and then goes, "Let's start working in ink."
I
And
really like his style though.
it's
And then you
great
look at his
and it's
cover, like
individual.
you look at his cover arts, and they're all like gorgeous watercolors. And then the actual comic is very rough and almost scratchy. It's so nice. I don't know.
But sometimes it is, and I love that his artwork follows what is clearly his pace of work as well. Is as soon as it hits action, or as soon as it hits something that he's really excited to tell or to convey, the art suddenly becomes so much more rough and rushed, so he
Yeah.
can actually get that feeling out on the page and convey it correctly, which is
And
great.
then
I love that.
even I would even the way he does his comedic
Yeah,
side of things with characters as well also is reflective of that. Man, that
great
was a
timing.
hard sentence to get out.
Yeah, yeah, he's got good timing for that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and it does really well. A great example is those panels of the main character. I've forgotten his name now. The bird guy.
Okaeri?
Yeah, in his room trying to map out all the characters that
Oh
he needs
yeah.
to. And I actually looked at those pages for a really long time because there's so much detail in them. And he's taken that time and slowed the comic, and it slows you right down. So you're going from, panel to panel to panel, and then it hits these, it's 3 or 4 pages, and you stop dead in your tracks because there's just so much information to take in, and
I
so
remember
much.
exactly which one you're talking about. It
Yeah,
was like a few chapters ago, yeah?
yeah, it's about 3 back.
Yeah. I remember because I was like zooming in and like scanning over the entire
Yeah.
page.
And
Yeah,
then
that was
it'll
cool.
jump into, him having conversations with people, and then it gets back to that loose, more undetailed work. And it's just stuff like that where he gets to switch and cut between, but he can only do that because he's taking his time with it. He can only produce this pace and this understanding of his characters and create this world because, the editor's off his back, essentially, and he's not
Yeah.
doing this weekly release schedule that's just killing him. So, he's done that. He's over it.
I wouldn't be surprised if the next one to drop or it feels bad saying it like that. The next one to shift away from the weekly format
Yeah.
would be Hirokoshi of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I want to see him take his time with something again.
Again, we're in the final stretch. The chapters have been getting very short.
Yeah.
I worry for the man's health. He's also been having about as much trouble as Yuki Tabata has been. So I'd like to see him either. It's like what we said last week, man. They have enough titles that they can do an A week and a B week.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. That'd be great.
shift them to a fortnightly release schedule, and then like split your heavy hitters between the both magazines so that they can support each other's like newer up and comings, and bada bing bada boom. Play it off as like a competition sort of thing between like who's doing better, the A week or the B week. Like there's lots of things that they could
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Hell, they can make T-shirts that say A team and B team.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much like the whole thing that Splatoon does with its I think it's monthly at this point. They do like competition waves where it's like, are you ketchup or are you mustard? It's like really dumb shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like
And
it's
yeah,
like
it could definitely work in their favor, and the artists would be way better off for it, and we would be way better off for it because
yeah,
we'd be getting better content. So, and we know that they're at least a little bit healthy.
right? We wouldn't feel as guilty.
For
Like even
yelling at them to
Oda,
make more.
like Oda does mostly 3 chapters a month. So he gets a week
Yeah.
off a month. That's still not probably the healthiest, but it's the healthiest out of
No,
any
because you'll
of
still be
them.
working. You'll still be
I
working
know,
in that week. We
I know.
know that.
He's insane. I
It's his
love him.
catch-up week for the month.
Oh, actually, the part of the Kodansha news that I was excited about, but then quickly dashed my hopes once you told me that it was a garbage app, was that Gachi Rakuda is getting an official
Oh
release.
yeah, it's getting an official English release after
So is
everybody on the internet jumping up and down.
the first Tankobon is releasing January next year, which will be
Yeah.
really cool to see.
Yeah, watch that thing shoot up in popularity like
Oh,
crazy
dude,
once it hits.
it's gonna be so good.
So much,
Oh,
and that whoever picks that up as a studio is got a lot of work to do when they convert that to anime, because there's just so much content, so much information to take on.
I'd kind of like Bones to do it, just because like they had Soul Eater, and it
It'd be nice to give
feels
them that extra chance to
and it'd be kind of nice for like the mangaka that trained the mangaka to have be animated by the same studio. It'd be kind of But
It'd
then
be
again, Soul Eater's anime didn't get the best of treatments, but it was in the dark days where they were still kind of doing whatever the hell they wanted.
Well, that was because they finish the anime before the manga was finished, so they just did their own thing. Yeah,
which they don't really do anymore, thankfully. I think
No.
Blue Exorcist was probably the last one, which they've tried to reboot because they screwed the pooch on that too. Although I didn't mind the anime only when I wasn't reading the manga
This is
for
the
it.
thing. You enjoy the thing when you're not seeing the
Privy.
better thing.
Yeah. If you're not privy to what's going on in its entirety, then yeah, of course it's going to be great.
This is why you never sit in the comfy chair first.
Yeah. It's like the two Full Metal Alchemists. I enjoyed both of them. And of course I'm going to recommend Brotherhood over the original anime because it's so much better.
It's just so better.
But I do think if you enjoy Full Metal Alchemist and you want more, having that original series to watch or watching that first, like it's hard to recommend one over the other to watch first, because I would recommend it the way that I watched it, which was watch the original one first, because then you get all this fun. Well, also Brotherhood kind of skips over the first little bit because
it's already been done in the original and everybody's already seen it. So and in order to squeeze the amount of content, because it's a big series, and the focus of Brotherhood is a little bit different to the original series.
Yeah,
so
it kind of like speed runs up until that diverging point, and then slows down and kind of spaces out a lot more. But you only really notice that if you've watched the original.
Yeah. So watching the original before you watch Brotherhood is a good choice. And this is one of those rare moments where that
you get to
sequence
have your cake
works.
and eat it too.
Yeah, exactly right.
You also get the movies, which have no canon to the series whatsoever. And Conqueror of Shambhala is so much fun.
Yeah, it is. That was an exceptional piece of work.
Because it ties the Full Metal world into our world in a pseudo-historic retelling of World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Germans doing the whole Nazi magic.
Dude. The fact that you said that Nazi magic
is basically
it's like it's different to other magic because it's
it's the occult that the Nazis were looking into, which was a real thing.
Yeah, they did
not the occult,
look into
but
that sort of stuff.
They certainly looked into it.
They tried whatever they could.
Did Bones do
Yeah.
that movie?
Probably. They do pretty much everything that's nice. Actually, I don't think they did. I think. No, I can't remember at all who did it. And thinking back of the styling, it's pretty close to Brotherhood
Yeah,
in
Bones.
its sort of
Well, Bones
styling.
did
Yeah.
Bones did Brotherhood as well. So,
Yeah.
oh man, that hits me in the. I feel old now.
How old is it? Come on.
It's 18 years.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, I looked at him like it's 2 years off 20 years old.
Dude, that's 6 months younger than my Steam account.
Oh wow.
Yeah, take
That's
that.
that's that's crazy. And then you've also got the other movie, which is it's just more Full Metal.
Yeah.
If you finish Brotherhood and you're like, I need more Full Metal, and you got like 2 movies and
Keep
half
giving it
a
to me.
anime show to watch.
And those super
Granted,
outstanding live action movies to watch.
shh. Did they? I don't remember them doing a live action adaptation.
You don't remember that happening at all?
I
You
I
know?
remember.
I mean
I
the
mean
special
the
effects were
special
outstanding
effects.
back then.
That's all it's got going for it. Oh man.
uh,
It's like the Attack
uh,
on Titan live action as well.
yeah.
All it's got really is the special effects. Um,
Ben, let's have a quick
yeah.
chat about CSM. Chainsaw Man.
Oh, no,
I want to talk
we're
about
gonna
this chapter that's just
we'll
dropped.
talk about it at the end. That's where we do our spoiler stuff.
Well, if we're getting close to the end, man, I still got to fit. I got to fit in the anime I just watched
Yeah,
because you forced me to watch it.
I know. I quickly want to go back to Beastars. Just quick.
Oh yeah, we've got to fit that in as well.
It's
Yeah,
fine. It's just going to be quick.
okay, let's talk quick. Let's talk quick then.
Yeah. How was you going back to Beastars?
I honestly, so I watched the original first season. So I watched the first season. Sorry, a couple of years ago now. And I remember the second season dropping, but I never actually got around to watching it. I can't remember why, because I absolutely loved. I mean, I really loved the first season. It was a spectacular piece of work. And going
I wonder
back
how it would
into
go if it was not Anthrode. I don't know if it would have like taking away all the nuances of the world, just the same
it would,
story. I don't think it would hit it anywhere as well.
you'd have to change a lot of things,
You would,
like a lot of things.
yeah. The cannibalism would be kind of just swapped out for murder, I
Yeah,
guess.
and the whole concept of the beast star would.
Yeah,
How would you do that in the human world?
I don't know, just like a fancy vigilante. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was
You
just
see where I'm going
random
at.
thought. I know.
The whole it works because of the world it's in. So the
Right.
whole
Okay.
yeah the whole idea of it just works so well in that anthro environment
Yeah.
because it relies on it.
Yeah.
So the second season I found to be leaning very heavily into a more Legoshi driven. So the first season it had a lot of Legoshi in it, but the second season feels like it's like almost 100% him so far.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, it's the turning point. It
yeah,
kind of
and the
doesn't shift back to being a school drama after.
which is great. It's fine.
like
I'm
a
happy
certain
with it
point.
being,
Yeah.
because it shifted from being a school drama to a full-fledged neo-noir. You know,
Yeah.
it's shifted gears completely, and having Lugosi taking on that role of some sort of almost saint-like position, where he's,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know, he's vowing to not eat meat. He's you know, going out of his way to try and save people or solve problems.
because you
Whereas,
have the is there much of Louis in second season?
oh
I
yeah,
can't
there's
remember.
still quite a bit of Louis, because
Yeah, yeah.
he's on the
It's the
opposite. He's the
other side of the
parallel,
coin.
and
Yeah.
they've shifted from, you know, one being completely defensive about being a herbivore, and the other one sort of being an innocent bystander of sorts, and
Mm,
shifting, you know, shifting that paradigm to being, Louis being almost a carnivore, or trying to be a carnivore,
yeah.
and Legoshi trying to be a herbivore. It's switched that
It's
paradigm, and he's, you know, they're both
literally a
trying
deer
to
eating meat
survive.
and
Yeah,
living in the lion's den, quite literally.
yeah, and I love it, because it's fascinating to watch him to put on this performance, and he's not 100% aware that he's putting the performance on. But you know, he's putting it on, and it's convincing, but it's not convincing everyone. You know, the
Yeah.
people, the rest of the gang are just like, no, we're gonna eat this deer later on.
Dude, the
Until we get to
Shinsengumi
the
are
first,
so good.
they're so cool. But the first in charge guy is really the guy with the glasses. Um,
I forgetting his name too, but he
yeah,
is.
I can't remember his name, but he's starting to sort of really take on board Louis' possibilities, what he can do for the Shinsengumi, and actually where he can take them. So the concept of eating him has just sort of
Oh,
disappeared now.
I think I did know about this, but I forgot about it because it's been such a while since I. So the slight little the Shinsengumi were like a small elite group of swordsmen back in like
Oh,
um
nice.
1860. So they
Man, that's really not that long ago, is it?
no kind of like the private military essentially kind of yeah
Okay. Yeah. But
um
that
and
suits that really well.
which yeah it's kind of in the same sort of vein as like a yakuza, but they're not they weren't like this era of them was more
Hmm.
during like rank of the samurai eras and stuff, so
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah yeah
Interesting indeed. Uh, yeah, so we see that shift in characters, and we see a shift of the story pushing straight into, you know, murder mystery mode, which it was a little bit in the first season, but the first season was driven so heavily by the character drama and the character interaction,
oh it's because I
that
misspelled it. They were the Shishigumi because it's a play on lions.
okay, okay,
But I mean, obviously
you were
that's the
close.
wordplay there. That's yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that, yeah,
Shinsengumi was from Golden
it's
Kamuy.
that's why it's piquing your interest, because you
Yeah.
remember it from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue
So
with you.
I look, I've been no, I am absolutely loving it, like really, really loving it again, almost to the point where I'm enjoying the second season more than the first one,
Yeah.
which is often a rare case. You know, normally second seasons tend to fall flat, because um, the character interactions have already happened, and they're just trying to pull story out of whatever they can.
Yeah.
Whereas this is still developing and evolving, and it's moving from its original premise, which is kind of fun.
Do have they introduced melon yet? The look of your face. think he's a jaguar. I think Melon could very well be the next like season 3's focal point.
Yeah.
Because they
He's
start.
just trying to track down the murderer of the.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I do
of
remember.
the
Yep.
goat. Is it a goat? Yeah.
Sheep.
Sheep. Sheep or a
Yeah.
goat. Yeah. The murder
Yeah.
that happened in the first season. He's been
Yep.
tasked with trying to track them down.
Forgot all about that. Yes. So
Yeah.
Melon will be the next season.
Yep.
Antagonist, I guess. Because the next sort of focal point, like not getting into spoiler territory, is the interspecies between carnivore and herbivore relations, which has already kind of been a thing between Legoshi and Haru. That's her name.
Yes. No, you got that. I was just going to say Rabbit Girl.
Yeah, she disappears for quite a while. She takes quite a bit of a backseat.
She definitely has this season. Yeah,
focuses
on Legoshi.
On the boys, and they're almost BL sort of level relationship.
I love it.
Like it's very like
it's bromance. It is.
I mean,
it's a love between two
Legoshi
guys
had
that isn't
Louis in his mouth.
sexual. Yeah,
he had him in his mouth, bro.
He had him in his mouth.
Yeah. I mean, it was only his foot, but still.
I'm trying to remember. I probably need to go back and watch season 1 again because it's been so long. There's going to be a few little points that I'm going to miss, I think.
Jumping back to what you were saying about like the whole eggs and the woolen jumpers and whatnot,
yeah.
I do like the parallels to, I guess, the real world, where a lot of your meats and stuff that you get, like when you're a kid, you don't really question where they're coming from. It's the supermarket or the butcher, but there's a lot of disconnect from where they're actually coming from if you're living in like a city or even like a built up town. If you're not directly exposed to that sort of stuff, like where that meat is coming from, there is a big disconnect. And I think with the underground meat markets and the everybody being aware of where the meats are coming from and how some of the carnivores are actually living, but then choosing to ignore it. There's a lot of really cool elements being played upon on both sides of it, and it's such a fantastic series. So cool. I was so sad when it ended. I was just like, no, how dare you finish this at this point? I want another arc, damn it.
She's just going, I haven't finished playing in the sandpit. It's time for me to go and do something
else. Which leads into the bit that I wanted to talk about real quick. That's not how you spell Bradley. The new manga that support the manga, damn it.
Sanda.
Sanda. Yeah. The new series by Paru is really no more anthros. You can see that that's where
are you sure? Because the faces are pretty done.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. You can see that that's where her background is. Oh, pardon me. They're still quite like that's Legoshi, straight up. Like that's old man Legoshi, not Santa Claus. I don't care what you tell me. It's a really weird, wacky series.
It's a
So
wild series.
it has still no English release. I've been reading the fan translations, and they're not the best. Because they're just doing it for fun, sort of thing. Hoping to help drum up more support for the
Popularity, so
series.
we can
Yeah,
so we can get it out
we
here.
can actually get. And so it's set in a school setting. It We haven't got a lot of information about it too much, but it feels like it's a futuristic post-apocalyptic series where the birth rate has dropped to such an abysmal level that they are almost honestly, it kind of feels a bit Orwellian, with its um totalitarian control on the children in this school. But then you find out that the children are genetically modified, so they don't actually sleep, because sleep is where they experience all growth hormones into them becoming adults, and becoming adults is bad premature. It's weird. um but again, the world that she's built, she's so good at world building, man. And you just get drip feeding of
Yeah, without
the
it being
world.
shoved in your face.
Yeah,
Like,
like
this is the rules in this place.
you're focused on a small cast of character, and they're being exposed to the world around them because they're so young. It feels natural as they're developing and growing older. Like, I think Beastars feels more like late high school, like they're heading into university.
Hmm.
Like they're, or I'd say, like in their last couple of years, because at a certain point, because Legoshi, like even in season 2, is kind of already dropped out. Even Luke
Yeah,
um
they're
has kind
both
of,
kind of dropped out.
yeah. And you've got characters like Haru that are talking about going to college and whatnot. So it
Hmm.
feels like it's in that sort of end of high school area where
Yeah,
this is at the
17,
start.
18 kind of.
They're like 14, sort of age range. Um, and there's like another murder mystery subplot, slash kidnapping. It's got similar elements, but it's definitely different enough from Beastars, that it obviously it feels like a different story,
Yeah.
in a completely different world. Um, but there's a weird a weird take on Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's
um,
a weird mythological
yeah, like, well, I mean, even
understanding
more
of,
so than what he already is.
yeah, worse. Like, it's,
Spoilers, I
yeah,
guess, for Santa Claus not being real.
you find, yeah, but that's what you say. Uh,
Not being invented
I'll
by Coach
believe what I
Carlo.
want to believe, bro.
Um,
This guy is my Santa though.
so it's almost like a lineage thing. So whenever he has red on him, he essentially transforms into an old man that's ripped as hell.
Yeah.
Um,
We're not
I,
talking Bat Santa here. This guy looks like he bench presses trucks,
I
which I think
like
he does
to.
at some point, doesn't he?
What do I refer to him as? Thirst trap Santa.
Yeah, that's Trap Santa. Sounds about right.
um, and it it's just a bizarre series, man. I can't really like talk too much about it. I've read maybe just over 20 chapters. It's hard to kind of nail down anything past what I've already said. Um, Again, also without spoiling
Yeah,
certain
and it's early
things.
days. It's early
It
days.
is. It is.
and we'll
There's
get
quite a
more as it
bit.
carries along.
There's quite a bit released already. Like there's 9 volumes. But again, we're very, very behind. Because
we just are.
so it started publication in 2021. So it's been going for a bit already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit again. Now that there is another fan translation team working on it, there's a bit more coming out a bit more regularly as well. I think they're almost up to 30 chapters. But yeah, no, they're doing a good job.
It's good. It's good. So for
Check it out.
anybody who's, living on the high seas, this is definitely one to watch out for.
Yeah. Until we get
a proper release.
Yeah.
Which I'm down for. As soon as it happens, I'll pick it up.
And her art is again drastically improved, and some of this is definitely more of a battle series.
There's a lot more energy. A lot more energy in it.
Still in that seinen border, like seinen-ish in its even though it's like set around like 14-year-olds, it's still, well, because I'm actually hesitant to believe that they're actually 14 with the whole genetic modification as well.
Yeah, they could be older. We don't know this.
Well, there's a certain point in the series where a character goes to sleep and they grow like exponentially. So it's like one night they go to sleep as a 14-year-old and then they wake up and they're pretty much an adult. So
it's like some sort of genetic gestation function that skips pubescent sensations and feelings.
Essentially, like, you know how I know it's a bit of a while ago for me and even longer for you, but you've got kids. Like growing pains and a lot of growth happens while you're asleep. Your body's healing, breaking down and rebuilding and whatnot. So I think that's the idea and the mentality of like shutting off the ability or the need for sleep and allowing these kids to essentially
not grow.
Be like students for longer, indefinitely. It's
still unclear.
Yeah, it's still a bit unclear. We've got breadcrumbs, but not enough to substantiate what the hell's going on. But again,
it's like trying to say, plot. Explain Ichinose to me.
Yeah.
You say you don't have enough information to actually convey the real understanding.
But then there's also a secret police that's hunting down Santa Claus, and they've almost fully eradicated them, and Sander is the last of his lineage, essentially. It's just there's so much going on. It is so cool. I love it so much. It's probably one of my favorite series that we don't have an official release for currently. It and Gacha Yurakudo are like probably the only two that I'm currently reading, because everything else has been picked up at this point that I was reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. All the way up. You wanna poo-poo on a series before we jump into weeklies?
Right. So last week, you dared me. You dared me to watch this series, and now I'm stuck watching it.
I told you that I was told that it was good too.
Yeah, and you sent me that video too, and I was looking at the video. I'm like, is this guy on drugs? So now I've watched the first episode of seven blades,
Seven spell blades or something like
seven spell blades. Oh, some very generic title. It matches it so well.
that.
So it looks pretty. So at least the animation's not so bad.
Yeah.
It's not spectacular, but it's not terrible. The animation is generic. Is probably the best way to say it. It sits in the middle.
Yeah.
The characters on the screen, the design of them, and
Reign of the Seven Spell Blades. That's
yeah, that's it.
Found it.
The design of them and the design of the school and everything is in the middle. It's generic. We've seen it all before.
I've watched an extra episode to you, and
yeah,
I still haven't stand by. I haven't watched any more since. I stand by what I said last week. Like, I feel like there's something
there. There is something there, but they keep it down.
So very far.
Because I don't know what it is. It's okay, this is what it is. And these are the things that really peeved me off about the series. The interactions between the characters was absolutely horrible. Like the conversation was so mechanical and so disgustingly generic that it made me want to vomit. It
did. Yeah.
2, the soundtrack, the music. When you're trying to be fucking edgy as hell, stop playing Harry Potter theme music behind everything. Okay? Just don't. Let the moment be a moment. And 3, learn how to execute a joke. Because I feel like this series would have been a lot better if they just didn't try to be humorous or try to put the characters into their own little generic
character molds,
character models, and just let it's frustrating because it looks like it could have been something.
It's currently where I finished up with it. I will pick it back up if we
we're gonna watch this.
Okay,
we're gonna watch this all the way through.
Okay, this is the new cheat skill.
This is the new cheat skill because
I mean it's above cheat skill for sure. But
well, this is the thing is I'm waiting for something to progress. I feel like something might actually happen and it might progress and the story might get better in some way.
Yeah, because the world building, the magic, basically everything but the characters seemed interesting and good.
Yeah, interesting enough.
Yeah.
But
it feels like there's some meat there, but I'm not sure where it is.
all the interactions between the characters is so generic and so mechanical. It was really gross. And so the girl with the light brown hair keeps flip-flopping. She's bipolar.
Oh my god. They also just like it was such a non-issue that like one of the students almost got murdered in
like there was nobody there. Nobody moved. She was running towards a freaking
troll. Yeah.
Troll, and everybody's just like, hey, what's going on there? She's gonna be smashed like that freaking wolf was a second ago. and they're almost like having a bit of a giggle about the whole thing.
They just felt like there was no weight. Like they set up this expectation and then it was just like, oh, we'll let the kids be the ones that save the day, even though realistically, where were any of the teachers? Where are any adults? Like, if you want me to like be convinced by your setting, put a little bit more thought behind it.
On top of that, these kids are like their first years, right? This is the first time they come into magic school.
Yeah.
How are they meant to have magic to save the day?
Well, I mean, that's the other thing, right? It doesn't, unless you're a Muggle equivalent to whatever that is in this series.
Oh, they did. What did they say? They did say something.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't remember. It's like a
I
load
can't remember what it
of
was.
shit.
Yeah, something
Um,
generic.
it
Normie.
seems like you're already somewhat familiar with magic to the point where you are pretty badass, I guess.
You
I
can cast
don't know.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
but nobody else
It,
moved. Nobody else did
I
anything.
know. But also, what was the whole point of like some crazy person trying to like hex the Peter personified?
Yeah,
Like, why?
there's
Like,
no
there was
rhyme or reason behind anything.
no context.
And we're like 3 minutes into the episode. I'm just like, how's this meant to actually mean anything to me? I have no attachment to this character. If she dies, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah,
In a
cool.
matter of fact,
I'm
it probably would have been more effective if they did kill her, and then the rest of the students would
well,
fall into
yeah.
line and
They,
go,
they,
"Oh
they,
yeah,
it was like
this
they
is
set the weight,
dangerous."
but there was no
Yeah,
weight. But then they were like, "Oh, be careful at this school because you might die." But no, maybe I don't know.
yeah. And then
It-
the samurai girl is like, "Eh, such a ditz."
yeah, such an airhead.
It hurts to watch her.
Wait till episode 2, bro.
No, don't. Don't tell me the writing gets just as good. It maintains that consistency of
it
mediocrity.
it maintains. I don't feel like it gets better or worse.
Right.
I'm still skeptical whether or not there's actually going to be any meat, but I feel like there's something there, and I don't know whether or not it's just because I've never really been led astray by the YouTuber that like recommended it to me before. But I don't know. He's on drugs.
I often disagree with the YouTubers you send me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But I
mean,
do that.
yeah. Do I send? I generally send you most of the news stuff, which you always.
Yeah.
I have I sent you much of the like the ones to watch that I generally pick from.
It's usually the worst of the season stuff that you send me.
Oh yeah, the hottest trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
right.
those. I always like
Yeah.
those. They're
I
always
mean,
good
that's
fun.
is that how we found cheat skill? I
Yeah.
don't remember now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
how we found cheat
it was
skill.
pretty bad.
It's also the how I picked up the God in a Godless World.
And he did also talk about girl who forgets her glasses. The one by
That
Go
one I watched the
Hands.
first episode. Oh, did I actually finish that episode?
You did.
Don't
I
think
felt
I
sick.
did. Yeah, it
Well,
was. I couldn't even go back and watch that. I mean, at least with cheat skill, I could force myself to go back and watch it. But the animation was so bad in that one that I just couldn't bring myself to
I
it.
like how I tried to defend it when we were seeing it before I found out that it was Go Hands, and I'm like, oh, they're trying things. They're a new studio. They're like trying cool techniques and whatnot. It's not landing, but at least they're trying. And then I found out it was Go Hands. I'm like, oh, this isn't their first rodeo. And you guys just suck. But they do have a
Not landing.
second. They have a second series out in the same block.
Yeah, same season. They got two
What's
series out in the same season.
the cat one?
Oh yeah, the cat one, which looks completely different.
Yeah, and actually I've heard good things about.
Yeah, it's like it's done by a completely different studio.
I reckon it's probably like done by their A team. Which is not saying much. Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit of a hot mess, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's disgusting. Never gonna watch it. But I'm gonna keep watching this stupid Seven Blades shit just to satisfy the masses.
In good stuff to watch, I've actually mostly caught up on Dead Mount Deathplay, and
Oh, nice.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's written by the author of Bacano and Durarara.
Yeah.
The first episode that I watched when it started airing, like 3 months ago, because it's finished now, which doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
No.
Oh yeah, probably should. I was gonna bring it up. It tonally shifts drastically from that first episode. Like, it starts off in a fantasy world. It plays on reincarnation into our world, and there's a big fight between the corpse god and the calamity crusher, where it's like this giant
What great
skeleton
names.
necromancer. I know, right? um and they're fighting, and the climax happens. The necromancer's casting a spell, and all that you see is our MC here waking up in the middle of Tokyo, and you're like, which one is he? Is he the corpse god? Is he the calamity crasher?
Yeah, I remember watching the first couple episodes of this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it plays like on that vagueness, and it's like, oh, which one is he? I mean, it's kind of obvious. They play it off for the first episode, and then it's just thrown out the window. But I liked how they did that. And it's a wholesome comedy
With a lot of blood.
with a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Because there's like there's a murder mystery going on, because you find out that the MC has been reincarnated into a freshly killed body of a he's the son of a rich man, but he's the second wife's son. So he's like one of the youngest in the family. So he's the youngest son, but a lot of So hang on, I was trying to wrap my head around it. Then you've got all the other family members are mostly older than him, but he's like their uncle, because his brothers and sisters are in their like 30s and 40s, because his dad's like 79. So he's had a late life child with a younger wife who's also deceased, and there's like an inheritance struggle going on. It's set in Tokyo underworld, sort of. It feels reminiscent of Durarara and elements of Bakuno in there as well. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying it, and from where I'm seeing so far, I'm really hoping that we're going to get a second season, because I am not going to be satiated after 12 episodes of this. Because
we should get at least another 12.
Yeah, the characters are just so much fun.
Hmm.
Very, very much would recommend.
Righto, I'll add it to my list.
It's my
list.
fun series at the moment.
Okay.
But yeah, Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man. Let's talk about this weird, weird thing that just the past couple of issues have been kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's because he's extending into that occult area.
Yeah. It feels like we're going full cult at the moment.
And it feels like he's wanting to explore just how wacky and insane and stupid the whole concept is.
Well, slight caveat. The same YouTuber, Mother's Basement, has done a full series on an actual cult that is currently active in Japan, that has produced its own anime that is like a fucking fever dream. So I wouldn't be surprised if like Fujimoto's like aware of like that and like the cult mentality or vibe or whatever is going on in Japan. I wonder if that's a bit of an inspiration. Yeah, that was the only
This is
little
Fujimoto we're talking about, though.
I know.
You know,
It
so
could be anything.
I'm
Just
the most recent chapters have definitely given me Fire Punch vibes.
true, true. I forgot that he also does a lot of punching down, punching on religion and
Yeah,
sex.
Fire Punch is the whole
S
thing about. Yes,
ECTS, not
yeah,
SEX, but also sex.
yes, insects.
Yeah, that not incest,
No, not
but also
insect.
that was oh man.
Love the
Are
English
we talking
language.
about Fire Punch or Chainsaw Man?
Could be going either way
Oh,
here.
I think I just broke my brain with all this wordplay. Oh, anyway, back to topic.
Yeah.
Also,
So
I
back here
like the
again.
Kobeni's. Is that Kobeni's brother again?
It, I guess could be
I think it was. He's got the hair
Kobana.
clips.
Nobana.
Yeah.
Is it Nobana? Yeah.
Yeah, Nirvana. I think it's
Hmm.
Kobeni's younger brother, the one from the aquarium that was licking the aquarium windows.
Everything
Forgot
about
about him,
this
didn't
this
you?
second series has been such a weird trip.
I
It's
mean,
like
part one's pretty weird, but this goes up to 11
the,
and then
the
some.
it was the action and the world building that was weird in the first part. In this part,
Yeah.
it's every character is weird, but the world is normal. If you get where I'm at,
Or is it just that
it's like a
we've been
reverse.
normalized to the world?
Kind of, but it's like the world has become pretty standard for
Yeah.
its construction. So it's not as
Yeah.
wacky and weird and demons popping up every 3 seconds kind of environment. Everything's gone just normal
Yeah.
in the background. And all
The
the foreground characters have become weird and unusual.
because
So
like apart from like uh what the horsewomen, we're not really. What was the last demon we saw? Apart from like ones affiliated with the horsewomen.
yeah, so the last proper
Like the
incident was
falling
the
devil,
falling devil.
but that was relating to Femi. So like before
Kind of,
that it
yeah.
was Bat Devil, which
Briefly,
was back with the Justice Devil,
yeah.
which was also possibly Femi. So like realistically, like
Man.
this has just been a character drama with
Oh
demons
yeah,
sprinkled in. And
yeah.
the character
Way
drama
more
side of
so.
it is so wacky. Like they're all unhinged.
Yeah, there's
Except
no just
except for Yoshida.
normal
And it
people.
feels like he's the only normal person and he's like surrounded by these unhinged people.
Nah, Yoshida's the weirdest one out of them.
Yeah, but I like that he plays the straight man.
Yeah, he does.
Especially when he breaks.
I love how they all use Denji as a seat though. Everybody in the
Yeah.
devil defense corps seem to use
Metaphor.
yeah. Yeah. He's a tool for them to use. Yeah. It's just, everything's just piling up, weirdness after weirdness.
And I was so vibing him becoming like buddies and having like his first real male friend, because you can't count Aki, because Aki was more of like a brother figure.
Yeah. Whereas this is like he's more like the male power equivalent, the way he
Well,
behaves.
I would say
It's the way he switches on and off. He'll be talking normally, and then suddenly he'll switch over to being really angry or really excited or something like
I
that.
feel like he's different enough to not be, but he's another Denji. But I think that's the point, because he's another one of the hybrids. And building up from those last few chapters, like, he's been saved by Denji. He admires Denji. Even though he knows Denji doesn't remember and he doesn't remember, he knows that Denji is responsible for his now freedom. And so there's like a respect there, and he wants to be his friend.
Yeah.
I don't know about that anymore after this chapter. I was like,
yeah, because so many bizarre things happened in it.
And
but those last couple of pages really threw me. Like, what?
Oh my god, the
actually...
amount of shitting on America as well.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's like
America's such a terrible.
Man says all this stuff about America, but America is really bad for real though.
Yeah, using UV ultraviolet light weapons in the upper atmosphere to make adults stupid.
Yeah, he's got special eyes. He's like, I never found no American ultraviolet whatever. Huh? For real? You didn't? Of course not. I mean, yeah, maybe we lie. Wait, what?
Wait, he just flipped.
Yeah. And not to mention the whole, you can have sex with anyone that you want. Only one person, and then you've got to get married to them. And it's like, what is going on? I'm so lost. And this new dude, I don't like him.
No, he's
I wonder who he is. I feel like he's like the speed, like the lance. Do you remember? I can't really remember all of the hybrids that Makima had that we didn't.
I don't like him. His eyes are weird.
Maybe he's the bug. You know, was it the locust one? Also,
Three Stooges moment.
This behind him took me a long time to realize that it was a window, because I thought it was like a blade.
He was like a sword behind his back. Something behind him.
Yeah, well, he's got his hand behind his back. I didn't realize he was just like doing the, just holding his arm behind there. But I thought for sure like this was about to go into a fight scene, and then it was just really weird interaction.
Man, he's really pushing the right-in side of things, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's putting as many words on the page as he can, so he doesn't have to draw.
And I mean, after what we've heard, that makes a lot of sense.
And it's all conversation, so he doesn't have to draw big action or anything like that. I have a feeling. Yeah, the talk is right. I think this part is probably going to be a lot shorter than the first part.
Yeah.
I mean, we're technically almost halfway there.
I was about to say, yeah, if we're going based off what part 1 was, we're at the halfway mark, which kind of doesn't feel like it.
No,
but it also kind of
a lot's happened, but it doesn't feel like anything's happened.
Yeah. But that's, I think, because we're split between two pro tags. Maybe.
We are very heavily now, and I'm just wondering whether his major shift to focusing on Denji is because everybody was complaining there wasn't enough Denji.
I think it's because Asa's set up now. I don't think he'd really care. I feel like narratively it makes sense to shift back after where Fami has set Asa up to, and it's unclear whether or not Fami and Yoshida's group are working together. It feels like it, between Yoshida making Denji recede and then Fami pushing Asa into the spotlight and kind of replacing Denji. It feels too coordinated.
It is very coordinated, and I think they're definitely working together in some way.
I wonder if they're working together but trying to play the other side.
I would say that those two are like a group by themselves, not really playing for either side. Just looking to cause some distraction or destruction in some way.
I mean, from just the surface level of what we've been told by said characters, they have a common goal in terms of not wanting Nostradamus' prophecy to come to fruition. But I would see that as for two different reasons. Yoshida's group being the Devil Hunters, being because, they don't want devils. Humans, good. Devils, bad. Whereas Fami is all like, demons and devils taking over human world, bad, because then no pizza.
Yeah.
They've got common goal, but not
famine.
Yeah, there's not actually like common ground. They just have the same net result, but past that net result, I don't think they're going to be allies.
Yeah, probably not. Seeing Yoshida take down Fami would be interesting.
Yeah. I still hope he is like contracted with like an elder god. That'd be sweet.
Yeah. I still suspect him. I still think he's playing.
Oh, he's sus as hell. Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's up to something. But yeah, solo.
I mean, yes. But then again, where the hell is forgotten his name? Kishibe. Where is he? What the hell's he doing?
He's in the same place where they all are at the moment. They'll come they'll come in for a little bit and then they'll disappear until
we haven't seen him at all in part 2.
I know, but it doesn't mean we might not see him at all.
I know, but like he's such a prominent character in part 1 that it feels weird not seeing him at all in part 2, especially after the whole.
But she's playing such a small role in what's currently happening, even though she's still got her powers to some degree.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I know. They'll play in when they need to play in, but I suspect a lot of those characters that did play big roles in the first part aren't necessarily going to show up again. Just because this is a story about school kids.
This is the Denji and Asa show. Yeah. Also, what the hell is going on with that cult?
It's pretty nutty.
It is so nutty.
But people believe shit like that.
It's like giving me like Jonestown vibes, but also like that episode of the Book of Mormon from South Park. Like there's got like serious creepy undertones, but then like really stupid.
Yeah, like how can you possibly believe this?
Oh,
but people do. And this is what he's doing. He's illustrating the fact that, there's
Pure
these
horror, to be
stupid
honest.
things. Yeah, there's these really stupid things that people believe, and it is scary. It is scary to see what people believe.
Like the zealotism. I don't know if that's actually a word. I've just made that up. That level of zeal just creeps me out,
Zealism.
man. I don't know. Like, I remember when I watched the movie The Mist. Have you seen the Stephen King The Mist movie?
No.
Funnily enough, a mist rolls into town. And there's creatures inside the mist. The majority of it is like situated in a convenience store. That's kind of like your 7-Eleven service station type thing.
Not to be confused with The Fog.
Correct.
Which is the same premise, but different.
Hang on. Let me double check that. No, it's definitely The Mist.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're just going to search The Fog and see what's going on there.
1980s?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I'm talking about a Stephen King adaptation of a 2007 movie.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Mist.
Not a Stephen King fan myself.
Oh no.
It's always aliens.
Yeah, see? Haha, good book. Yeah, I don't know if the show's any good. I've heard mixed bag. But anyway, there's a super Christian lady. Yeah, there you go. Mist is a psychological horror novella by Stephen King, first published in 1980.
There you go.
And yeah, so like you don't see anything. Just when people go into the mist, they end up dying because these interdimensional, possibly, I don't know, maybe aliens. You don't actually find out.
If they're interdimensional, they're aliens.
Everything's an alien.
Yeah.
They're not from Earth.
That's right.
Technically, demons are aliens.
Yes. Because they're interdimensional.
Yeah. Anyway, and yeah, like she goes full zealot, like, oh, I actually don't remember. It's been such a long time since I watched the movie.
Be protected by the Lord, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and like we should sacrifice someone. Maybe that'll appease like that level of like creepy. Like you have no basis for this rationale, but you are still 100% behind it. And
that's the first thing you think of is like, there's something weird happening. We must appease it by throwing someone in.
Take this one. Yeah. And it's just, it unnerved me. And from that moment on, like in 2007, 2008, and I'm like, I don't like that. And that's my big horror trope that I'm not a big fan of, that like unnerves me to my core. And
any
starting to get that
hardcore religious nut can make you feel really uncomfortable.
Just like that pure, undeniable
trust.
Yeah, in I guess faith, right? That's the whole whole point of it.
Trust.
Yeah, and
that's what
I'm starting to get from this, and I'm like, Chainsaw Man's going down the horror route again, and I'm here for it, but I'm also
not ready.
Like, my shoulders are all the way up here.
Yeah, but it's done in a goofy way.
Yeah, which lightened it until like we got to creepy man
guy
at the end, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I got really unnerved. I'm like,
You
I don't
choose
know.
your family or us.
I don't know anymore. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. What about you?
Well,
About
we'll
the
see.
same.
We'll see where it pans out. I don't know.
We
I
got to
think
we got another chapter next week, so
yeah, Denji's a bit too much of a hard
dumbass.
nut to crack, I think, for that
Also
sort of
that.
stuff.
Well, I mean, he basically got lied to and was like, called them on their bullshit and was like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm out. Bye.
I came here for sex.
You promised me a harem. Where's my harem?
Yeah. Yeah. And what was with that teleportation last freaking chapter as well?
Harem or Dunzo? Yeah, no, that
Because
was hilarious.
that definitely gave me like there's two Denji vibes.
Okay, so I did I that was also what I thought. And I tried to go back. Hang on, I'm trying to get it up.
Give us a second.
I usually never have this problem. So like, apart from this little panel here, I was trying to figure out if it was the same Denji just by what they were wearing, and up here when they're on the roof, you don't see what shirt Denji's wearing, because the entire time he's being sat upon like a chair,
Yeah.
and then here he's wearing the Chainsaw Man shirt, and that was the only indication that I could kind of latch onto. But yeah,
Not the fact that he was already down the stairs.
I mean, there was that, but I'm like, I was
Yeah.
trying to differentiate if there was two Denjis.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
it's been purposely done in a way that you can't tell whether he's
like
subconsciously splitting in two or whether he's yeah.
ooh. Well, that was the whole point that Fami said that she could, right?
Kill
That she
the
was
chainsaw
going
man. So
the
is
black and the red.
is the chainsaw man that is the demon splitting from the human component subconsciously?
Are we going to have
Now
like
I'm making your brain think.
ego and
Yeah,
like ego and id?
and id. Yeah,
Wait, are ego and id the
maybe.
same? I can't remember. Well, ego and inner desire. I can't remember the theory around that anymore. Right now,
Yeah.
too tired and I've had too much to drink.
Too late for that kind of thought
Yeah.
process.
We almost sounded smart.
Don't try that at this time. That's
Yeah,
silly.
it's I know that he says like, oh, just listen to the song, but damn it, I like doing.
But then he does stuff like this.
I know.
All right.
Well,
Because
like
now
okay, so
it's at that point where he's like, come on, guys, I want you to guess. I want you to try and understand what's happening here.
teasing. The only thing, like, because from this point to this point, we get 3 panels, and we're not really sure how many flights of stairs he's rounded from the roof. So the only rationale that I came up with when I was reading was Denji splits from out underneath, jumps off the roof through a window to the stairwell. That's it. That's all I got. Like,
Yeah,
apart
no,
from
but
actual teleportation
yeah.
or splitting. I didn't consider that though. But then again, from the newest chapter, they have like he has him in that duality quite literally split down the middle when he's asked to choose, essentially. Oop, that's too far. Yeah, here.
Yeah.
And you've got one shattered dark.
One shadowed light. And it's the idea of being Chainsaw Man or the idea of living a normal life, which is his duality. That's his essence.
Yeah. He wants both. He wants his cake and to eat it.
Yeah, but everybody keeps trying to take one or the other.
Yeah.
They keep telling him he can't have both.
Yeah. I feel you, Denji. I feel you, man.
And it's not just one person saying it. It's like everybody he comes across is telling him he needs to choose.
Except Asa.
Well, he hasn't seen Asa for ages.
No, he just saw her. But he saved her as Chainsaw Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is the funny duality between them is that they keep missing each other figuratively. They're never in the right place. I mean, it's more Asa's side of things than Denji, but then Denji's been put in a position where he can't actively just tell Asa, even though he has actually, but she didn't believe him. He needs to show her proof, but then it's a hot mess.
Yeah.
And it's purposefully done that way.
Yeah, purposely constructed mess.
Yeah, it's man, he's something else, and he does it on with surface level characters that just seem dumb and stupid.
Yeah, and then it just springs stupid little details on you in between.
It's like he likes toying with raw human desires. Because that's Denji essentially. He's a raw nerve. He's very simple. He wants bread, butter, and jam, and sex.
That's pretty much humanity in a nutshell, right there.
Yeah, it's the base elements of what good food and procreation.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
I guess.
That's the element of everything.
Well,
that's
what the thing that
see.
that's what he hasn't really landed on yet. He was kind of getting there with Makima, but she was manipulating him. He hasn't had that deep connection with someone yet. At this point, it's just the base. Taz. As opposed to the person behind the boobs.
Yeah.
Again, he was almost there when Makima was teaching him, but that was all just manipulation and control. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's broken.
And then some.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kira's going to yell at us, so we need to wrap up this episode. Otherwise, we're just going to keep talking about Chainsaw Man for another 2 hours. So make sure to send us a like, comment any more on these videos if you're not watching us live. Share us around to your friends, family, dogs, demons, aliens, creatures in the mist, and throat punch that subscribe button. Join us next week, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for episode 60 of Read This Way. I've been Brad.
I've been Logan.
Read This Way. Bye.
Yeah.